Good morning. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am co-founder and chief coaching facilitator at my company, Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please join me for this video and others at my website, abundantlifeslc.com. Guys, I have to say this has been really fun building this picture behind me about the essentials of my transformation plan and how I believe it can help people navigate their way through this thing called life. And so we've really done a lot of work on this. And what I wanted to talk about today was the last part of the skills that I think you need in order to live this abundant life that I'm talking about in peace and serenity. And the last part of this, I think, and the last skill is what I've circled here, which is called transparency. And transparency in the social context, according to Webster, is operating in such a way that is easy for others to see what actions are performed. It also goes on to say that it implies openness in communication and accountability. And I think that's really wonderful because we talked about accountability in the past and how important that is, that you get with somebody, a supportive person. And again, I gave you the cautions about other people that are going to feel threatened by your change, to get with a bunch of supportive people to get help out of those conditions that I talked about, but also help you understand your feelings. And my reminder of my friend that called me and said, gee, I don't know, I gained a couple pounds, this stinks, whatever. Holding somebody accountable and being transparent and being willing to be held accountable is essential as we go on to try to become the person that we want to become. And so I also think that being transparent helps us in our communications. And we all have troubles in our relationships with communicating. And as that goes on, and if it's not identified, and if it's not worked on, it can lead to isolation, it can lead to anger, it can lead to resentments, and all sorts of things that are going to block us again from where we want to go. And so I found that being transparent and trying to be as transparent as possible is exactly the opposite of the way I used to live my life. And again, back in another video, I talked about the facade that I had up, that is what I wanted you to see. And it was exhausting working on keeping that facade going of what I thought was success and what I thought people wanted to see, trying to live up to other people's expectations and so on, and not being true to myself. And that was very dangerous for me. And so now I try to live a transparent life. I'm foibled, I have my sins, I have all of that. But I'm trying to work on those. I'm trying to bring happiness and peace and love and compassion to all the people in my life. And I believe being transparent is essential in that. And it's a skill that we have to learn. Because it's, in my case, was exactly the opposite of how I was living my life. So I had to change quite a bit in order to become a transparent person, to show my emotions exactly as they are. And remember in this, you guys, you're entitled to your feelings. And if somebody hurts you and you tell them about it and they react poorly to that, that's on them, not you. You're entitled to how you feel. And you in a loving manner and in a loving relationship, communicating those feelings to somebody else accurately then gives them the opportunity to respond to that accurate communication, that transparent communication. Again, I also talked about resilience, very important, courage to change, and proper use of willpower. So as we look at this now, and wow, what a wonderful picture it's becoming. Us here in the middle, our inner circle, that black, that's not negotiable again. And I can open that door here, as I mentioned, to let very loving, dear, close people in, to be intimate with those people. Into me, I will allow you to see, even into this part. Then we talked about creating some boundaries, and you may have more than one, but a caution here again is I had so many layers and boundaries and veneer that nobody could see into me, and I couldn't get out of it. I was trapped inside of that facade that I had put forward, and it was dull and it was yellowing, and so I put another one on top and so forth. Instead of renovation, peel all of it back, get down to the studs, as I like to call it, if you're home improving, and start again. We talked about willingness is really important. And what am I going for? I'm going for abundance. And so at the bottom of this, I added another word, and of course, love being in everything that we do, and everything that I want to do today is based upon love, is faith. And I believe, as I said at the beginning, I didn't have any faith. I was spiritually bankrupt. My life was run completely on self-propulsion, and it left me wanting. And so I started to work in a different way, and I started to gain some faith in some things. So I believe faith is an acronym. I believe the first letter in that word, F, is for foundation, and I've got it at the bottom of our life here. It's a foundation. A is acceptance. Acceptance of actually where I was in reality. No more filters. Peeled back all the veneers and looked at who I really was. I accepted who I really was, foibles and all, an accurate accounting of my life. And then what can I change? How can I go forward? In that, very important word of integrity. I had to be honest with myself and what could I work on and improve, and what I was unable to attain, or at least unable to attain at that very moment. I wanted to weigh 210 pounds as I do now, but unfortunately I weighed 302, so to get to 210 was going to take some time. So that integrity and that acceptance that if I follow a plan, I'll get there. But I'm not going to get there today. But what can I do today? What can I accept today to be at the end? Transparency, the T, we talked about that. Today's word, very important to make sure that I'm not starting to defend and starting to build up those walls again around me, because those walls are not what God wants for me as I understand God. That's not good orderly direction. That to me is hiding and sneaking around and camouflaging. And whenever I'm camouflaging who I really am, I'm way off the rail. So I want to be transparent today. And then last, the H, again, is honesty, being and hope. We have to get to know who we are so that we can be honest with what has been blocking us in the past. Resentments, anger, overeating. And I talked about it in that relapse mode. We have to sit back and try to figure out, what are we running from? Why am I uncomfortable? Therefore, using alcohol to take away those bad feelings, or overeating to take away those bad feelings, gambling to take away those bad feelings, getting angry. What's going on that's causing me to do that? And then have to turn to something, a destructive chemical in my case, or a destructive amount of food, or the types of food that I'm putting in my body. What am I running from? And if we can be honest about that, and then we can be accountable to a program to help us get through it, we are going to achieve what we're looking for, which is abundance. And the last point I'll make within all of this, which is also in faith, I think, is action. We have to take action every single day that's consistent with our internal core values and where we see ourselves going down the road. It takes action every single day. For me, it takes prayer. It takes medication for my emotional imbalances. It takes physical exercise. And it takes watching out for my finances and being a good steward of those finances, what God has blessed me with. Take care. Hope that helps. Be good. Take care. Bye now.